Hey everybody, and welcome to Face to Face Game Podcast, episode 39.
Hey, 39.
I was kind of
Yay.
distracted because Athena was walking by and looking at me. I was like, I don't, what's going on? Am
What
I
are you
being
trying
bad?
to communicate? Is Timmy trapped in the well?
Oh, she's gonna punch you one of these days, and it's gonna be
Mhm.
great.
My introduction to Athena over internet was when I said, "Oh yeah, she's that Australian woman, right?"
Yeah, that's not that's a bad way to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
That
I
is
mean, they're
like
basically the same place.
no, 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 they totally aren't in any way, shape, or form. It's like Canada and the United States. We're
Yeah.
similar, but very different at the same time.
Did he call me an Australian?
Yeah.
No, I
back.
referenced the time that I called her Australian. I did not, in fact, call her Australian. That, ladies and gentlemen, is semantics.
That is true. That is definitely true. Anyway, video games. I haven't been playing much because I was at PAX. The irony is thick.
No excuses.
Well, it's funny because it's like, okay, I'm going to this massive video gaming convention, and then I like talk to everybody as opposed to actually playing video games. It's a thing.
Fair enough.
Cool.
That said, I did see a few things that were kind of cool. I didn't actually, like I said, I didn't play too much because I was just going around doing stuff. But there was a few things that looked like they had some promise that weren't released yet. One was a platformer called Faded, and I'm trying to look up the link right here. But essentially, it's a platformer, like action platformer, going through the world, killing stuff, doing stuff. It's super early, but the whole idea is that the color has been drained from the world, and you are tasked to go get it, recover it, make the world a colorful place again. Uh, and those colors are actually your superpowers. So, like, say you get green, then you have the ability to do like a certain type of attack or skill set. And when you pick up green, then all the hues of green come back in the world. So it's like, if you're in a forest, there's some green in there's green in the trees, and then like slight bits in like the trees and stuff. And as you get more colors, everything becomes more vibrant. And yeah,
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw this in our chat.
If anybody is looking for it, the full title is Faded, Bringing a Colorless World to Life.
Yes, yes, and it's pretty cool. Like I said, it is early, but it does have potential, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do with it. It's on Kickstarter right now. It's only well, actually, it's got 20 days left. It's got $2,800 of 700 or 7,500. So it's like a third of the way there, and I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to see where it's gonna go.
Actually, while this is super cool, I'm kind of disappointed because it's very similar to an idea that I was thinking about making for a while now.
Well, you
But-
see, that's why you just do it. Don't sit on ideas. Just make video games all
Hang on
the
a second, Are you
time.
telling me that the best way to get things done is to actually do them? I don't
That's preposterous.
understand. Oh, okay. For a while, I've been trying to figure out why this game footage I'm looking at is tilted. Yeah, the guy's just recording it on a camcorder. Just pointed at a screen.
Nice. It was probably at PAX.
Yep, PAX South. It's IGN's coverage.
Mm. So yeah, PAX South. Yeah, that was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else did I play that stuck out? Hold on. I want to get the name correct. It was something along the lines of Academy, if I can spell, of Dungeoneering? Is that right? That doesn't look right. No, that's not right at all. I know it does end in Dungeoneering. Hold on, I have
You'll
to
get
get this right. This one, Guild of Engineering, is that or Dungeoneering?
Guild of Dungeoneering.
Yes, that's the one. That is
My
definitely the
Google
one.
is strong.
Yeah, no kidding. You know more than I do, and I'm the one who is there. This one I'm really looking forward to. Um, it's like a card game where
Oh,
you get,
yes.
you
Sorry,
get
I
different-
just saw coverage on this earlier.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
cool. You get various different cards. You have a map and you have a hero, and the hero is AI based, and you create the map, you place down enemies, you place down loot, and then based on the AI's opinion and their loadout, they will go to certain tiles. So if there is a monster in a tile, then they've got a certain amount of, I can't remember the term they use, but essentially, if they are afraid of that item or that enemy, then there's more likely a chance that they're going to run away from that enemy.
Okay.
But they will be more inclined to go that way if, say, there's a bunch of loot over there. So it's like, okay, the AI will determine risk versus reward of whether or not it's going to go in a certain direction. So say the hero's going in one way that you don't want them to go. You put a big ass scary monster at the end, and it'll like backtrack and be like, nope, 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 nope. Yeah. So you like build a path, try to get the hero to go to the main loot of the dungeon, and yeah. Oh, Chainsaw Awesome's here. So yeah, to that in a moment. My buddies at Chainsaw Awesome Games, they make Night Squad, and they're very cool. And Night Squad's very cool. But yeah, anyway, to finish this off, and there's also a card-based battle system. So you would pick up various different cards, play them out, and play them with the it's like you play one, they play one. It flips at both time, like at the same time, and then you just go, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, really looking forward to that one. I'm pretty stoked because I like roguelikes and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what I hear, it has kind of a Munchkin-esque vibe where you're trying to get your guy to as high as level as possible, and you kind of have to make sure you're putting down weak enough enemies that your guy can get it, so that he can beat the boss when it comes along.
Yep, and then like leveling up and getting stuff,
Yeah.
RPG stuff.
Yeah, that looks super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a game called Gravity Ghost at PAX South?
Yes. Did I play it? No.
Dang. Because that's another game that I had heard about from PAX this weekend, and I was very interested in checking out. But okay.
Yeah, there were a number of large games that I didn't get the chance to play. Gravity Ghost was one, Elite Dangerous, another space one, all space.
Yeah, this is definitely the time of the space sim right now. There's a lot of them coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
Excited.
Whatever. Yeah, and I mean, like, they're going to be cool. Elite Dangerous looks pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I've heard if you're into Space Trucking Simulator, then Elite Dangerous is the game for you.
Yeah,
Space
it's like...
trucking?
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's to the point, it's got, like, one of those very realistic systems in it where, like, when you go to a space station, you have to request permission for docking, and then they give you it back, and then you have to go to your like specific landing pad. And it's very much like the nuts and bolts of space travel.
Right.
So, yeah, it's kind of got that like trucking simulator vibe, wherein a lot of that stuff is actually done in a lot more detail. It's a lot more gritty.
Oh yeah, totally. It's like part of the tutorial is learning to dock your ship.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. It's like figuring out how to actually like connect to something else. So it's a thing. I think it's going to be really cool, and from everything that I've read, it looks pretty sweet. The graphics are awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's not my jam. I don't know.
Fair enough.
That said, I'm more of like the person to play like smaller indies.
Yeah.
Hell, I worked the Vlambeer booth on Sunday.
Yeah, I heard you had quite a fun time there.
Oh my god, it's
Ate
so
lots
good.
of pizza.
I ate lots of pizza, but that was at the Devolver thingy.
Okay.
Well, actually, like every night was something interesting. It was Friday night for everybody at Chain's Awesome, and from Just Shapes and Beats.
Yeah.
And yeah, we all went to a place with beverages, and then stumbled out of the place of beverages.
After removing several of those
yes.
beverages from their inventory.
Yes. Well, it was like we showed up, and it was like some burger place because we were going to go to the Twitch party, and the Twitch party lineup was way down the block, like down the block, around the corner. It was like there's no fucking way that we're getting into this thing.
Wow.
So we're like, what are we gonna do? You know, we expected to go to the Twitch party and just totally could not do it. So we're like, what are we gonna do? And it was like, hey, there's this little restaurant here. They have burgers and they have beer. So we walk in and it's like you get 4 cans of beer for $10 in a bucket. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go do that. And then there were like tall boy cans too. So it was like, all right. So I'm doing this.
Fair
Anyone
enough.
else doing this? And then we did it. And then I was pretty wasted. So yeah, it's a good
That's
time.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Even more awesome is the game that they make over there. Mirrored image. Sorry, not used to it. But yeah, Night Squad. They had an amazing showing at PAX. For those of you not in the know, which I assume both of you aren't. Do you know anything?
If Night Squad is the game that I'm thinking it is, I played it at PAX Prime and absolutely loved it.
Actually,
It
yes,
was
yes,
a
you would
ton
have.
of fun. I
Yeah.
got to play it at the Microsoft Open House.
Well, then I'm the only one that is out of the loop because I've never heard of it. Do tell.
Okay. So, in short, Night Squad is 8-player local multiplayer. It's kind of like Gauntlet, except like the gameplay is really basic. You have a stick to move and a button to press that attacks. But there are various different pickups. They level up as you pick up more of the same thing. There's a whole bunch of different maps, different modes. Like there's Capture the Grail. There's King of the Hill. Straight up deathmatch. There's a Juggernaut mode that I don't know too much about that Chainsawsome would know about. And so many more things on the go. Like they're making new additions to the game all the time. So yeah, really cool
Yeah,
game.
When I played it, it had a lot of
Interesting.
polish. It was a lot of fun. I got to play the Capture the Grail mode. So I'm very excited to kind of see what happens with that. I assume that since PAX Prime, they've had a lot more time to introduce new features and stuff.
Is there a release date?
Well, it's on early access right now. I don't know what it is for Xbox One, and maybe JS. I assume it's JS is in the chat. We'll figure that out for us and type that, and then we'll speak about that with our words. But yeah, so it's on PC right now for early access, and it will be out for Xbox One at a later date. So it's really cool. Juggernaut mode is free for all. There's one night with a minigun. Nice.
Sweet.
Like I said, there's even a bunch of modes that I haven't played yet. So, and then killing a minigun guy makes him drop it. So, and then chaos ensues. Actually,
enough.
you know what? That's a good way to put it.
Hmm.
Like there's a ton of like chaos all the time.
Anytime you have 8 people playing the same game on the same screen, things tend to get a little bit hectic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's insane. So, yeah, it's pretty sweet, and I'm really looking forward to see what happens there. Also related, our friends over at Just Shapes and Beats, they made a game called Just Shapes and Beats, and they had an amazing showing as well. Vance, you played that at Prime as well, right?
Just Shapes and Beats. I would have to look that up real quick.
Wow,
Why
cracking
don't
my
you talk
knuckles
about it
when they
while
showed up.
I'm looking it up?
Okay, Just Shapes and Beats. So strategic dodging. Dodge the stuff. It is like a bullet hell, essentially, without you shooting back. And there's
Cool.
one button, dodge. And as you dodge, you're slightly invulnerable, so you can pass through some objects. and it plays best multiplayer, just like trying to survive as a team, and it's all set to like some really rockin' chiptune music by Danimal Cannon. Oh, here we go. Xbox One version is pretty much with the final PC release, aiming for April-ish for Night Squad. So I'll wrap that up really quickly by saying that. But yeah, Just Shapes and Beats had an amazing showing. In fact, yeah, like they were up on the Twitch booth.
Oh.
Yeah, for their indie mega booth coverage. So yeah, there was a lot of people. Actually, a lot of people at both booths. They were just. I'm surprised that the enforcers didn't do too much because they're like at Night Squad. There's 8 people playing at any given time, and then you have like another 8 at minimum behind. Like sometimes even more.
That reminds me, at PAX Prime, the game Keep Talking and No One Explodes. So it was this tiny little booth where like 2 people could sit down, but there was just this constant line of at least 15 people, just all milling around, and the enforcers were having. They're like, could you just move in? I know there's not much room, but it was chaotic.
Oh, it was insane. But I mean, like that. Once again, like the previous games that I just mentioned, they deserve the press. Like, Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes was amazing. Did you get a chance to play it?
No, I had some buddies who did, and I never ended up doing it, which was regretful. I wish I had.
Yeah, like that is, as far as I'm concerned, actually, after this PAX, I would say not necessarily the #1 reason to own an Oculus Rift, but it's really high up there. Like, it is one of the best experiences I've had at PAX, just because it's so...
What is it?
Okay, Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes. There is a person with a controller and the Oculus. They have a bomb in front of them, and they have to disarm the bomb. And then the other players have no access to any screens. They can't see what's going on at all, but they have a manual. And in that manual is the instructions to disarm literally every bomb. So what you do is, as the guy with the bomb, with the Oculus Rift, you figure out, okay, you find the information on the bomb, like, okay, here's a serial number, it has this many ports, it's got this many boxes. Over here in the top left-hand corner, it's got 6 wires, these are the colors, so on, so you just describe the bomb, and you piece your way through it. And, like, with the information that you find by looking at the bomb, the people with the book have to go through the book and figure out the correct instructions for disabling that bomb. And it, like, I think we played the tutorial level, and we barely did it.
Wow.
Like,
it's kind of like doing over-the-phone IT support with your parents, but you only have, like, 5 minutes to do it, and if you fail, everyone dies.
Actually 3, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, the best part about that game, like, it bogs my mind. But it's just like, okay, the communication, you do what you can, and there's, you try, as I played the person with the Oculus, as a person with, sight on the bomb, you do the best to describe it as, perfectly and, with the best punction that you can say. Like, you need to make sure that everyone knows exactly what this thing is, or else you're screwed. You're totally screwed. So you have to do that to get it going, right? But it's still stressful because there might be a layer of disconnect in your communication, right? So say, for example, when we did the bomb, we went through all the other components of the bomb. We disabled those, and then the final bit was a button with a hatch on it. So we open up the hatch, and so they're like, okay, press the button, and I'm like, okay, I'll press the button. And then it's like, now hold it down. I'm like, okay, now what? And I'm holding down this button. I'm freaking out. I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? And they're like, okay, release it when there's a 1 in the number. Like, because there's like a countdown clock, right? So like, okay, like there's a 1 in the number, and it was like in the teens.
Yeah.
Like, as far as seconds were left. And I was like, are you sure? Like, just do it if there's a 1 in the number. Like, yes. I'm like, ah! And then it's like disabled. I'm like, oh, like,
Oh wow.
like it was the most stressful but entertaining thing ever. Like it's super 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 scary, but it's so much fun because it's just having that asynchronous multiplayer adds a whole different twist on it because by having that difference, like you don't know. Maybe things are right, but it's all up to the player, right? If the players have enough, what's the right word? I guess descriptive ways that they can say things. Like if you were somebody who said, "Okay, like there's a box with some stuff on it," and they're like, "Okay, well tell me about it." I don't know. There's some red stuff. Like you're gonna die. Like there's no question, you're gonna die. But if you were able to look like, okay, let's break it down. I have 6 things. In the top left, I have this. In the top middle, I have this. In the top right, I have this. And just slowly go through it. Like the first step is like describe the bomb, describe what you have, and then just piece your way through it. And then, like I said, that was the tutorial level. There was also an easy mode, which was similar to the tutorial level, and then a hard mode, which made it even bigger. It was something like a 9x9 grid.
Oh, God.
And every bomb is procedurally generated too. So you have no idea what you're going to get. But thankfully, the manual, like I said, literally has every bomb. But can you describe the bomb? And
Right.
that's the question. It's like there's a bunch of Greek symbols, and then there was a set of buttons. There's 4 buttons. One of them was, the best way I could describe it was a K mirrored. So it was like a line down the middle, and then lines down like that.
Okay.
And I'm sure that's a Greek symbol of some sort, but hell if I know. So I'm like, okay, it's a K that's like both ways, like it goes backwards and forwards. And it was
progressive K.
a progressive K, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, it's just like there's basic things like describing color and number, but then it's like describing symbols. It's almost like Space Team in that, where it's you're trying to describe like, okay, click on the lawn being mowed or something along those lines, which may convey the image but may not. Yeah. Especially if there's multiple things that are like that. So, yeah. But anyway, that's PAX Prime. Let's see, what else happened aside from, like I said, crazy industry parties and drinking, and crazy industry parties and drinking at the same time.
And your 4-foot pizzas.
Oh my god. So Devolver had literally 4 feet pizzas. 2 of them, and they were massive, and they were delicious, which led to a eating contest between myself, Bork Parker, and one of the devs. I thought he was from Crow Team, but I don't remember. But yeah, it was pretty intense. It was kind of awesome, although it didn't feel so good the next morning because
Yeah.
yeah, there was this one slice because there's the obvious thing of going for number of slices. If you were to have an eating competition, it'd be number of things, right?
Generally, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it's like a number of things you would try to eat, and that makes sense. But, and I mean, as was pointed out later by that was essentially a rookie move. I decided to go for literally the biggest piece of pizza that I could see. And
Why?
Because pride and America.
Okay, we'll put a tack in that. Go on.
Anyway, well, I was wearing my Broforce shirt, so it was like, yeah, America, we're going to eat this giant piece of pizza. So this thing was like a foot at the crust.
Oh my
And then
Lord.
like 18 inches long. So imagine like this.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was. We determined that over the course of eating all of that pizza, I ate 1 extra large pizza. Because once again, like I said, they are circle cut. They're not square cut pizzas. So these are just these massively long pizzas or pieces. They're not even shown on here. That are like they're just huge. They're huge. They're massive. And yeah, I decided I'm not gonna go for the thin one. I'm gonna go for the big one. And then Justin, one of the developers from Always Sometimes Monsters, was like, "There's no way you're eating that." I'm like, "Yeah, there is."
There is now.
Like, I'm making this happen, and then I did, and then I didn't feel so good, but I did it.
Yeah.
I don't feel good you explaining it to me.
How did your pride feel the next morning while
My-
you were in pain?
My pride felt amazing. My stomach felt not so amazing. Actually, that's funny. It was almost like... Actually, not almost. Friday was a pretty solid day, going around, meeting up with friends, meeting new friends, and, having a good time. Saturday was working off the hangover, and then Sunday was working off the pizza hangover.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Having
it
a
was...
greasy cheese baby.
Oh my God, it was amazing. I can't articulate how amazing it felt to say that I ate essentially an extra large pizza in a competition against Fort Parker. It was a good time. Anyway, so yeah. Beyond that, like I said, Sunday I ended up working the Vlambeer booth because Rami had to go do... Actually, you know what? Let me rewind the tape. This is a really interesting story, and I think it's super cool and very typical of Vlambeer and how awesome they are. So, 3 days ago, 6 days before PAX, Wacom, the tablet manufacturer, they had a booth, and they canceled their booth. And Rami and Adriel came over from the Netherlands, and they came over and they saw, oh hey, there's no one here. That sucks. That this is an empty booth. That's really awful. And when they talked to the organizers, and they're like, hey, what's up with this? You know what? We're here. Why don't we fill in this booth? Why don't we go set up? And they're like, yeah, totally. So they went to Best Buy, bought a couple TVs, scrounged up enough hardware to do some demos, and even improvised. The best part is they took some garbage bags and set them down as table runners.
Yeah.
Just they were just a good service. Throw on the TVs, throw on everything, and then boom, they've got a booth. And it was very, very Vlambeer. It was just, this is a situation. We're working with it. We're gonna make it work.
Yeah.
So they set this up, and they're like, okay, we got these two TVs. Adriel leaves for LA in the morning, and Rami's busy doing everything because he's Rami. He's in high demand. And they're like, okay, what are we going to do with these TVs? Oh, okay, screw it. We'll just give them away.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what they did was they took the TVs, and they had one for the highest score, and then one for the best time to beat the throne. And they're both playing Nuclear Throne on these TVs. And it was going pretty well. There was a good race for the high score, but no one had beaten the game yet. There was no one who actually went for the throne. So they were like, okay, well, this is getting interesting. What if no one beats it? And then this one kid, Trevor, shows up, and he demolishes the game.
Typical Trevor.
I know. Sorry, Travis. I got the name wrong.
Classic Travis pretending he's Trevor.
I know, right?
Should have known.
Should have known. Anyway, so Travis demolishes this score, and like by fourfold, like demolishes it. He beats the game, and then he gets to the throne again. He dies at the throne the second time, but it's like the high score before that was like 300, and his was well over 1200. And he was literally the only person during the entire weekend to beat the game at PAX. Yeah, so it was like he wasn't timed, but obviously he has the best time.
Yeah.
So that led to a little bit of a dilemma, which we just figured, he would get the one for the time, and then the second score would get it. So
You weren't just going to give him 2 TVs?
I was curious about that, but they were like, "Nah, we'll divvy it up," which makes sense because, come on, really. Yeah, Scott's like, it was only interesting when it was Trevor. Travis, not so interesting.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's hilarious. But anyway, so yeah, the way I got rounded into the booth, because I'd stop by the booth, say hi, hang out, shoot the shit, friends. And then, so I was hanging out, and then Rami was going to go up onto the Twitch booth and do his 15-minute scheduled thing, right? And that's been a thing like that was going through the entire of PAX. Like, there would be 15 minutes of a particular streamer, there would be 15 minutes of an indie game, and like the indie games would go up and they would show the best content and demonstrate their games as good as possible. Rami, on the other hand, he went up and showed the most buggiest crap he had, and it was really good. It showed what it took to be a game developer. You would go through all these bad ideas. So it's like, you make this idea, it's awful, it doesn't play well, but there's one little idea here that works really good. So you take this idea and put that into another game, and so on and so forth, and then you come up, well, in his case, came up with Nuclear Throne. So, yeah, that's how it was. But anyway, the point being, I was right there as Rami went to go do his stuff. So I looked at Angel like, hey, do you want help running the booth? Sure. So I helped run the booth while he was doing his thing. And then Rami came back. He was making the next build for Nuclear Throne because he announced that he would right at the PAX booth. But because they had made the booth, that they were running, he didn't actually have time to do this leisurely build. It was just like rush, build with like the most RF congested place on the planet. So, yeah. It was a bit chaotic, and as such, I ended up helping run the booth for pretty much the rest of the day, and it was fantastic. So, yeah, that was my Sunday.
That's cool.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
You tend to do a lot of networking at those events.
Well,
I remember at Prime you were food delivery service.
Yeah. Yeah, and that will probably be the thing at PAX as well, or at PAX East. But that's all up to Felix. We'll see how things go. But
when is PAX East?
In a month.
Yeah, why did they put those so close together?
I don't know. I have no idea, especially considering that it coincided with the MagFest weekend as well. So
yeah,
like everybody who is in the gaming industry either went to PAX South or they went to MagFest. And it was like complete divide. So I don't know. Whatever. It's a thing.
I guess.
So yeah, PAX East is going to be a thing. That is definitely going to be crazy.
Disappointed I can't join you, but just not going to have the monies.
I'm disappointed in you too.
If you wanted to pay for me to come with you, I would totally go.
Well, that's the thing. I would love to pay for you to come. Except I'm not gonna. Because I'm not made of money.
That's, similar to why I won't pay me to go. So.
Exactly. What about you, Nick?
No.
I think he's not going for the same reason I'm not going.
Yeah.
All right, so
to Japan.
Stuff.
Yeah, when are you guys going to Japan?
End of March.
Yeah, end of March.
Yeah, that's
leaving on
soon.
March 27th or 28th or something like that.
27th.
And how long
But,
are you
yeah.
guys going for?
2 weeks.
18 days.
That's going to be pretty intense.
Yeah. It should be tons of fun. Get to meet up with
TJ.
with TJ, who is a butt. But
He is a butt. But that's a proven fact.
yeah.
I miss him.
So, is that all your PAX stories?
I'm sure that I probably have a couple more. It was like people that I'd meet up with and be like, hey, I want to talk to you, and then totally not get the chance to go over there because I'm totally doing something else. Actually, here's a couple things that I haven't talked about. So, at the Devolver booth, they had a various different selection of new games that are coming out, as well as older games like Broforce that are still showing for good reason because they're badass. But they also had a couple new things. One, right before PAX, they announced Ronin, which they call something along the lines of a tactical turn-based stealth game.
Oh yes. I think I have seen this one.
The best comparison I can say, hey Cesar, best comparison I can say is it's like Gunpoint, except you have a sword, and when you get into combat, it turns into, like I said, they say turn-based, and it's not like really defined turns. It's more like a moment in time. So you would be like, you would fly through the wall, do a thing, and then be like, okay, people are drawing their guns at you. Now you can quickly get out of the way, they take a shot, and then everything readjusts, and it's like, watch, rinse, repeat, and keep doing your thing. So it's really cool. It's really cool. It's like they took all the good parts about Gunpoint, and then gave you a sweet fucking sword.
Okay. So you got the chance to play that?
Yeah. Actually, that was one of the shameful things about the whole thing. Like, Ronin is a really good game, and I'm really excited to play more of it. Like, I'm really, really, really excited. It's very cool. However, not very many people got to play it because the demo would take a solid half hour.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, like, that's...
Beefy demo.
Well, it's not that it was beefy. There was probably... Yeah, there were 3 levels. But that 3rd level was a pain. Like, it was really tough. But that said, like, it was a really fun level. So, yeah, like, it was a very good game. Like I said, I'm really excited to play it. But obviously, it didn't show that well just because it just took so long. And people would watch and be like, oh, what's this? And some people, like myself, I would get into it and I would watch and I'd, talk with people who were playing it at the time and just, be like, okay, what if you do this and talk strategy? And that's great. But a lot of people are more hands-on. They're like, oh, okay, I want to play the game. I want to get my hands dirty. I want to just get into it, and it's great.
Yeah.
But that's, not necessarily an opportunity that they're going to get because there's one station and it takes so long. And
there's only one station, too. Oof.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's rough.
It's no fault to anything, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, sometimes that's what you can get away with, you know, especially because who are the developers of?
I don't know, actually. It is a Devolver-based, like, published game. But
oh, okay, so this was like a sub-section of the Devolver booth.
Yeah, well, the Devolver booth is always a really interesting place to go because they always have a lot of really cool games that, like they're interesting games to play.
Yeah.
So, like, they had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games on show, and like it's all in essentially a double booth. So, like, it's a pretty solid showing. Always when you're going to into the game or into the booth. So you're always going to find something cool. Or they might have had 8, but anyway. So Ronin, if you're looking for it, it's published by Devolver. I can't remember who made it right now, but that's a really cool game to look out for. Another one that I looked out for is Noct, and that one is made by a couple developers out in Toronto, and NOCT, and it is by C3SK, and it's like thermal imaging from like a satellite or a C3 or like a combat ship.
AC-130.
Yeah, AC-130.
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
what it is.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my Call of Duty knowledge.
Yeah, he came through. But anyway, so like I said, thermal imagery from the top. You're flying, or the ship is flying around, but you're watching the survivor. You're playing as the survivor, and just watching as they, go through and try to survive this. What would be the right term? I don't want to use the term invasion, but there's giant bugs and lizards and shit everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's a survival game. So you have these monsters out there who have various different mechanics. So, like, one will follow footsteps. Like, they won't necessarily see you, but they'll see where you've been.
Yeah.
And then others will follow sound. Like, they've all got their different algorithms of how they're going to hunt you, the player. And
This seems really cool.
it is very cool. I like it a lot. And there's a lot more development to go into it, which makes it even cooler. But yeah, so you'd have, like, you go into an area and try to survive, and you run into a building and everything's good, but all of a sudden this, like, giant lizard comes storming through the door and you're fucked. Like, that's it. You're done.
Yeah.
It was a little bit more brief for the death. Like, it wasn't health-based when you're playing in the demo. But what they're going to do is it's multiplayer. So you'd set up a server. It's going to be like this massive map, and your ragtag group of civilians or people or whatever try to survive, and just various different situations happen. People die, and you just try to live. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be what'd be the right word? It's going to be scary. Because there are definitely a lot of people who would play it, and they'd just be like into it. They got headphones on, they're isolated, and all of a sudden just oh shit, like, especially in this current build of the game. I don't know how it's going to be further on, but it was like you die and black screen, like you don't even get to see it. It's like this giant monster runs through the door and boom, cut, dead. It's just like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened?
The screenshots I'm looking at, they give it very much a like close, personal, very creepy atmosphere, because you can't like get a good surrounding view. All you have is just this tiny window into the surroundings.
Yeah, it's called Noct, N-O-C-T.
Okay.
Like nocturnal.
Nocturnal, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's looking really cool. And they're going to have different imaging modes, so there will be certain items or certain things that you can't see unless you're in a certain, like, wavelength.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really interested to see where this is going, because it has a whole world of possibilities that are going to be scary and awesome.
It's funny, Kay, you said the multiple wavelengths, and oddly, to me that makes me think of Five Nights at Freddy's. Where you have to when you're like viewing one channel, you can't see other things.
Yeah.
And not quite exactly the same, but I wonder if that's going to start becoming more of because it's a really good scare tactic. That whole idea of you need to choose something to look at, whether it be a wavelength or a camera, and then you're purposefully blinding yourself of other things.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you're right. It does work well. I mean, if you can't see everything, or if you can't sense everything, it's going to be like, oh, well, did I just hear something? Is something going on? I don't know. And I mean, I don't know if that's going to come into effect with the enemies, but I definitely know it's going to be like hidden items or hidden paths or something else that you would know. Like, I mean, to be fair, these are giant bugs. As of right now, giant bugs and lizards. So obviously you're probably going to see them.
Fair enough.
Huh.
Still another tool that I think a lot of people who make horror games can put in their toolbox.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. I mean, just being able to limit yourself. I mean, hell, look at the original Resident Evil.
Yeah,
Like,
actually, that's exactly what I was thinking. Those like forced shots of tight corridors where you have to go around a corner and you're just blind,
oh,
and you just
totally.
need to trust that there's no zombie gonna eat your face.
Yeah, exactly. Or, the fact that the control scheme, while absolutely fucking terrible, was part of the horror because it was like turn, 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 shoot, 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 come on! I can't back away, please, just die.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a thing, and I'm looking forward to see what they're gonna do with it because, like I said, lots of potential on this one, and it's just a cool, different perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of games that are just top down, but using the thermal imaging just brings out so much more possibilities. So yeah, I think it's going to be cool. And
Awesome.
then two more games I want to wrap up while looking at the Devolver booth. Enter the Gungeon. I'm looking forward to this game for a while. Enter the Gungeon. It is a roguelite where you go around and you shoot stuff. Particularly, you shoot bullets and shells that are trying to shoot you. It does not take itself very seriously in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, so you were shooting, like your enemies are literally bullets, shells. Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of different guns, a whole bunch of like silly guns. Like there's all sorts of character, beautiful pixel art graphics. I would almost consider it a Nuclear Throne-like, just in the way that it plays.
The art really reminds me of Tiny Towns and Tiny Towers. That
Really?
series of games. Obviously, the games are nothing alike, but I'm getting that really good vibe, which is a good thing. Those games had very cool, very cute art.
Yeah. There's a lot of pretty.
Looking at a bullet shell with a bandana on, holding a pistol right now, and he's adorable.
Oh yeah, it's like I said, this game has a lot of flavor, and it's chunky, it's big, and like I said, I think Nuclear Throne-like is going to be, the next, evolution of like Diablo-like, Rogue-like, Nuclear Throne-like, because it's like that particular gameplay, running around shooting twin stick shooter, randomly generated levels, and just chaos. It's bullet hell, but I mean, there's a certain touch there that's added. So it's a fun game.
Yeah.
It's a really fun game. And it's
do you know whenabouts they were, like, how far along they were in development? Is this still early footage, or is this they're thinking like sometime this year? Or?
I would say they're probably something this year. I didn't get a firm answer, but I mean, like, I actually no, I think I heard them say something like August, because that first zone felt totally complete. Like
Okay.
it felt solid. The gameplay is great. I think it's just like making new levels, making new areas.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It is a really fun game.
Cool.
So
Looks like it's going to be on PS4 and PC. So that should be a cool game to check out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really, really, really pumped for that. And then finally, a game that was shown not at PAX, but rather at the Devolver Party after hours at PAX, and then actually on the Twitch the Twitch booth. So anyone who is watching the Indie Mega Booth coverage at Twitch at PAX South would have seen this, and that is called Mergzerds. And I sent a link to you too earlier today.
You did?
I did. You did
I don't
see
remember getting it.
Okay. Anyway, Mergzerds is essentially.
That was yesterday.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we were at work. I was at work yesterday. I didn't work today.
Yeah, well, I was at work today. I didn't work today.
Fair enough.
Anyway, Mergzerds is like, well, it's essentially Voltron, except added within the incredible, complex control system of QWOP. So you've got two giant robots that are like destroying buildings and trying to kill each other, and you've got all the controls, and they're all like I don't know what's going on. And you can definitely tell, like, there are better players, but like you get two noobs together and they like fall over and then rocket and do flips, like trying to kill each other because you've got a sword, you've got a booster on an arm, and then you have boosters in your legs, and you try to control your legs and boosters to get across the level so you can kill the head. And it's like, I wouldn't say impossible, but there's certainly a level of difficulty there. just
Yeah.
just in the control scheme. And it was like there were so many good things to play at PAX, and that was something different because it was so chaotic that like just in the controls, like just trying to get over but failing very difficult, like failing so hard. So
Yeah.
hard.
I have something to say about that, actually.
Shoot.
You said it was like two Voltrons. Don't you think it would be more like Megazords from Power Rangers? 'Cause
Well,
that's-
yeah.
Yeah. Megazord. Come on.
Well, to be fair, it's been a long time since I've seen Power Rangers.
Yeah, I know it's been
me
like
too.
5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
No, yeah, I did watch that. It looked really fun.
Oh, it's hilariously fun.
Actually, just as a quick aside, while we were briefly talking about Power Rangers, the day that I've been waiting for years has come about. So, Power Rangers is based off of the footage of this show called Super Sentai, which goes on in Japan, and so that's where they get most of their action footage, like all the Rangers fighting, all that stuff was originally from another show.
Yeah.
One of the big reasons they made the show because it's so cheap because the action scenes are already shot. They're finally doing a Western version of the Super Sentai where everyone is pirates. And it's gonna be fucking awesome. I was in a costume store around Halloween when I saw the costumes for it, and I'm like, yes, it's finally here.
I don't even...
Fucking go power pirates.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying?
Oh, I don't know. That's what I'm saying, though.
Oh my god.
Why?
So bad.
Because they can, Nicholas. Because they can. I also think their Zords are like big ships.
That is...
Yeah, just soak it in.
So I'm going to change the topic to a subject that I'm not going to be able to talk much about because it's very difficult to talk about. One final game, and then we'll call it. Well, when I say game, I mean more of an experience. It's called Sound Self. It is by Robin Arnott. And it's like... How to explain this? You put on an Oculus Rift. You put on headphones, like noise-canceling headphones. In the little tent that they had set up for this, because they, as opposed to a booth, they had this little tent and they had this shag carpet. Robin would serve you tea, and you just like chill out. You know, they had like little Christmas lights, and it was super, super calm, super awesome, and like super nice too. It was a great experience. But anyway, you'd hang out, have some tea, and then you would lay down on like a rumble mat that was like underneath the carpet, sit on a pillow, and put on the thing, like the Oculus Rift, headphones, and you get a microphone. And then you would make sound into the microphone, and that would change the experience that you were visualizing and hearing. So it's supposed to be like a meditation tool, something along those lines, or just like a transformative experience because it's just so out there. And listening to Robin explain it and talk about it and talk about his experiences making the game, talking about everything is really, really interesting. And once again, that's another bit of the Indie Mega Booth coverage on Twitch that you should really check out because it's very, very compelling. And I definitely know this is how it was for myself. And it was this way for other people. I witnessed people in this fugue state coming out of it because, like, you're totally. There's no other way to put it. It is full immersion into this soundscape and lightscape. Like, you're seeing all these crazy things that are affected by your voice and the sounds that you're making. I mean, like, you have the mic right up to your mouth, so you're making these like different frequencies.
Yeah.
But no one else can really hear it. You're just kind of like in your zone, in
What's
your
the
bubble.
opposite of a sensory deprivation chamber?
Overload.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so much sense, and like the vibrating pad is going with the frequency that you're going at, and like the coolest bit was you would in my personal demo, I think it's different for everyone, but there was a thing on the screen like breathe out and make sound. So it's like, okay, breathe out and make sound, and there was like a circle around, and like wavelength was coming in with the frequency, and it was all doing crazy stuff. And as I made it higher, more intense, it was like really going, and then mellow it out, kind of slow down, and then I'd run out of breath, and then I'd breathe in and do like a, and as I did that, the game would also go, and it would make like this really like whoosh tunnel, and then it would switch to something else, and then it was just this amazing experience with light and sound, and it was so creative and so impactful. Like, I got out of it because he'd like lightly touch you on the shoulder and take off all the gear, because you have a lot of gear on your head.
Yeah.
And you would come, like, for me, I came out of it and I just like stared at the ceiling for a moment. And he's like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just." Like, honestly, if you ever get the chance to play Sound Self, absolutely play Sound Self. Like, it is, hearing Robin talk about it is very interesting, because he discusses gamers and the people who go in, and they are objective based. They are trying to find a point, a purpose, a goal. And then you have like someone like me. Like, I play games a lot. I play every game. I play everything. And for me to go into it, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to lose myself in this. And I was, like, lost for the rest of the day. Like, the rest of my time at PAX was just like, now what? There is nothing that is going to recreate that experience other than that game. Other than that experience. So, Sound Self is something like you just have to, if you ever get the chance, because like the gamers, they're like, oh well, I couldn't really figure out what to do, like there's no goal, I don't know what's going on, but anyone else is like, I have to go think for a while.
Sounds like a good trip.
Yes, actually that was one of the things too. They had it at Burning Man, and it was like between a couple tents, and people would show up and just be like, whoa.
That'd be unreal.
That seems like the kind of thing that would be at Burning Man.
Yeah, I would. Oh my god, that it totally fits. It totally fits, and it was super cool. So, yeah. So, and yeah, aside from, like I said, meeting lots of new friends, hanging out with a bunch of old friends, and just having a good time, like that's PAX. That was PAX South 2015. Holy shit, it is 2015.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I didn't let you two talk at all.
Nope.
I'm okay.
That's okay. You had lots of stories.
Yeah, I wanted to hear stories.
Well, stories.
There you go.
All right, so on that note, I think we're actually like right on time. So I'm going to call it. So once again, I'm Thompson. It's been Mike Vance and Nick Ferguson. Mike and Vance.
And Vance. Oh, yeah.
I get no mention, eh?
So it's Vance
And some other
and Nick. Yes, Vance and Nick, thank you for joining me for this experience.
Yeah,
and
fair enough.
it has been Face to Face Game Podcast episode 39. So tune in 2 weeks to hear how awful my CrossFit competition went.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is that coming up? That's right away, eh?
That's next weekend.
Cool.
I'm gonna die.
Do it up. Lift those heavy things.
Oh, I
Lift
will.
more heavy things than other people.
That won't happen. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.